this is Tina from Shabby Dabby Doo Dah. Welcome back to my channel. So we are here for, I think it's day 5 now that we're up to on our, 7 days of toppers. I can't believe we're day 5 already. It's just absolutely flown by. So what I thought we could do today is work with some book pages. So I've got some book pages here. Now these are largish book pages. They are from what I would describe as a coffee table book. So they're not kind of like, a small novel or anything. They're much bigger pages than that. And as you can see, I've got a variety of, pages with pictures and text only pages, if you see what I mean. So what I thought that I would quite like to do is create some toppers with, utilising the backgrounds, i.e. just the text only, as the kind of base where we have used like fabric and, the lace and things. And then possibly cover, or not cover, but use as the, what's the word? Focal point, the main focal point. Use like the figures or images from the book pages. So yeah, that's what I thought that we could do. So let me just pull out all the ones that I thought had potential images, because if I don't pull them out, then I'm very likely to just tear them up, and then I will tear through any that I thought I could possibly use, and then I will be irritated with myself for being so stupid. So yeah, I shall just pull out any at all that might work. Okay, so for some reason I've gone for all men, but that's absolutely fine. So what I want to do now, this is it's not thick paper, but it's not really flimsy paper either. It's it's kind of durable-ish, if you see what I mean, but it's also now I don't know really how to describe this. It's smooth. Let's just say it's smooth. It's definitely not glossy, but it's definitely not a matte paper like some of the really old kind of vintage books. So it's definitely got sort of a smooth kind of texture going on. So yeah, I think that's quite nice really. So all I'm going to do is tear down my sheets first of all to get my first base layer. And then what I probably want to do is kind of like build these up. So we're just going to kind of take this down here. Oops. Like that. And then I think what we'd like to do, or, what I'd quite like to do, is build this up so it's got a few other layers with it, if you see what I mean. So that's my first layer. And then I can take this one and just have this layered on top. Now you could obviously use some of the kind of matte book page from like a a fictional book or whatever. I'm just kind of putting it out there that some of those books, some are very brittle or some are very, very flimsy, depending on the books that you use. So I guess that's just something to keep in mind, that obviously when you come to use it, you might have problems with it being a bit too thin or a bit too brittle. The brittle ones tend to be kind of older books. That said, I have had some books from like the 60s or 70s that also kind of go quite brittle. Again, I don't know whether that's kind of connected with possibly how they're stored, or whether it's to do with what they're actually made from in the first place, the paper type, or I mean, it could even be something to do with the printing methods. I don't know. But yeah, definitely I have noticed that some can be much more kind of brittle than others. So this one for me is just perfect. So this is kind of vintage, this book, but I mean, it's not hugely vintage. It's possibly, I can't think, but it's maybe like 1980s, something like that. So again, just going to tear down, get my kind of base pieces here. Now again, I don't mind if my pieces are what's the word, sideways on. That's absolutely fine. I think that's quite nice to have a bit of variation going on. So don't be afraid to kind of mix up your pieces, so you've got kind of some right way up, some not the right way up. So like that. Okay, and then what I'm going to do, I've got some sewing pattern paper here. So I'm just going to take my sewing pattern paper, and I'm going to cover, you know, Mod Podge this on to the book page. Now, I don't necessarily want this on all of it, if you see what I mean. So I might decide to just have this on one of the layers so that I don't have them all, you know, so then I could have like a, you know, yeah, a sewing pattern paper and a non-sewing pattern paper. So I've got sort of contrast really. So again, let's just tear this down like that. Okay. Oops. Like that. And then for this one, let's do the top one, you know, the top layer with the sewing pattern paper, just so we've got, you know, a bit of difference going on with our pieces. Okay. So like that, and then all I'm going to do is literally just Mod Podge that onto there. So just, sorry, I just touched the camera with my, you know, the, not the camera, but the, oh, what am I saying? I've lost all my words today. You know, the thingy-majiggy that holds the camera. So all I do is paste my Mod Podge round, oops, and I can be very rough and ready with this because, you know, this is kind of just like a background basically. We're not kind of, I don't know, you know, it doesn't have to look really neat or anything because actually this is going to be, you know, chances are covered up really. So just going to layer that on there. Like that. Now the other quite good thing about this is obviously this is going to kind of add a little bit more thickness to your book pages. So, you know, it's quite a good kind of thing to do because you're just layering up and getting more, you know, more thickness on your actual book page. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not obviously going to make a lot of difference. It's not like it's, you know, adding loads of heft or anything like that, but you know, anything that you can do to kind of like sturdy them up a little bit, then I guess has, you know, has to be a good thing, doesn't it? So let's just go round there, and again just a bit more here like that. Okay, and the other quite good thing is using this, you know, what I would call, like I say, the, you know, the coffee table type book. My pages were quite white, so using then the sewing pattern paper, you know, which I like that effect, it looks really, really lovely and it looks really vintage. If I had used, you know, what would the word be? You know, more kind of regular coloured pages, i.e., you know, the yellowy kind of, you know, normal book pages, then of course what's going to happen is when I put that sewing pattern paper on, they're going to go even yellower or even darker. So, you know, I might just end up with them too yellow, too dark. So, you know, that's another quite good thing for using these types of pages. And like I say, I mean, you'd get these kinds of pages in like a 1980s type book typically, you know, or even a modern day one. I mean, there's no reason why you can't use modern day things. Obviously, you know, the reason for using these is because, of course, they are, you know, they are vintage. They were being thrown out. I picked them up just, you know, from a charity shop or a car boot sale or something. So, you know, effectively they kind of were at the end of their life. It seems a little bit wasteful perhaps to go and buy specifically images or, you know, sorry, books for this particular thing. But, you know, I mean, you could do. Definitely could do. Right, let me put the brush out the way. Okay, so I shall pull in the first one that we did. Now, obviously this is wet and, you know, probably in an ideal world should just wait for this to dry. But you know me, I just haven't really got the patience for that. So I'm just going to try and tear this down. Like that. Just going as close as I possibly can to the book page. Now, obviously, not doing a very good job. And of course, this is not really stuck down properly yet. So, you know, definitely I would have benefited from leaving it. But I'm just going around and kind of like tearing it off. I could probably tear that down a bit like that. Okay. Right, that's that piece. And then I've got obviously this piece that I'm going to layer up onto there. And then this one, I mean, obviously this is really soggy because this is the last one that I did, but again, just kind of like go around there Oops. I'm not making a very good job of this, so I do apologise. And then just, yeah, tear this down. Oh dear. Oh, rubbish. Absolutely rubbish job of that. But never mind, that's fine. We can go with that still. And then the last one here, I'll just again tear this down. Oh, I think this was the first one that I did actually. So hopefully this is kind of a little bit drier. I mean, like I say, they're all still quite soggy, so you know, this is not the best. Not the best at all. Right. Can't believe, yeah, that we're up to day 5 already. We've only got like 2 more days of doing these. So, I mean, to be honest, it's probably just as well because I'm running out of ideas. But, yeah, it's really flown by. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and maybe it's given you some ideas and, you know, some inspiration of things to do. I mean, I just love having things ready-made that I can just then, oops, put onto a journal because, you know, it really does kind of make it then so easy to get things to come together if you've got a few things that are ready-made. So yeah, for me, I think it's just, you know, a really helpful thing to have. Right, so that's those. Now let me pull in again those faces. So these are all men, as they often are in, you know, historical books. So let's take this one first. So I'm just going to cut him out. Okay. Now, I'm just wondering whether I want to kind of just leave him, you know, the shape that he is, or whether I would prefer to take him, you know, into a different shape. Now, I bought recently an oval punch. Well, I actually bought a couple of oval punches, you know, in a bigger size. And now I can't think what I've done with them. They might still be downstairs. I don't think I've even brought them upstairs yet. So that being the case, I shall just cut him down and leave him rectangular. So like that. Okay. And obviously if you've got quite a bit of background, you can always take, you know, take your images down kind of smaller to get them to fit onto your pages better. So that's him. Okey-doke. And oh, that one's not really got a face that I want to use. Oh, neither is that one. What have I done with those other ones that I wanted to use, I wonder? No, neither have those. Oh, hang on a second. Right, here we go. Definitely wanted to use this one. Yeah, definitely want to use this one. So again, just kind of cut that slightly smaller. Otherwise it's pretty big. Okay. Okey-doke. And then this one now. Which image do I want to use? I mean, actually, weirdly, both of these men are quite reasonable looking, aren't they? I mean, a lot of men from historical books, you know. And this is a bit mean to say, but oh, some are just awful, aren't they? Awful, awful looking. And they're not just awful looking, but they're so miserable looking. So, you know, why would you want to put them on your cover? I mean, I'm now wondering about that first man, actually. Perhaps we should get rid of him. Well, although he is very stern looking, there's something very authentic about him, isn't there? I mean, he definitely looks like vintage. He definitely looks like he belongs on a journal, doesn't he? Yeah, right, okay. So I might just back 1 or 2 of these on some more book page. So I'm going to go round and just rough up my edges a bit. I mean, I really like the kind of roughed up edges look. I know not everybody's cup of tea, but again, you know, we all have our own kind of likes and dislikes, don't we? So for me, I think this is, you know, a really nice thing to do. So just going to glue him down on here. Now, bearing in mind, I may go in and stitch around these, you know, so yeah, it may be that he will be stitched around as well. Okay, like that. Yeah, like that. And then this one. Well, I don't want to necessarily do them all with, you know, background. So, yeah, I might kind of leave the others. So let's just cut around him. Okay. Like that. Okay, and then just take that down there. It's a bit wide there. Okay, right, let's just again rough up those edges a little bit. Like that. Oops. Now, obviously, these are all men. If you've got sort of more feminine images, you know, you may find them easier to work with because they may just kind of, you know, pull your piece together slightly better. You know, just work with what you've got kind of thing. It doesn't really matter. So I'm just going to glue this on. Actually, before I glue this on, I'm just going to quickly ink this up. And would you believe I forgot totally, because I filmed, you know, to the wire when I was then going to the school. And now I've forgotten to actually now look for my blendy tool. So what a wally. Now still haven't got it, which is so irritating, you know. Let me have a look to the side of me, because I have definitely got some more, what do you call them? You know, the blendy sponges. So I'm just going to use one of those, even though it's not on a thingamajiggy. So yeah, not ideal, but it's fine. So just ink around there. Again, I'm just kind of inking up the edges of this, really. Okay. Like that. Whoops. Oh my goodness. Oh, no sooner did I get it, I've now dropped that. So, would you believe? Right. So I'm just going to take that like this. Now, I haven't really glued right to the edges, just in case I want to kind of like slot anything under there or slip anything under there. Then I've got kind of, you know, the ability to do that. I forgot that wipe was wet. I've got the ability to do that. So I'm just kind of leaving myself, you know, options really, to be able to tuck things behind that book page. So let's just take my sponge again and just ink around him. Okay. So I hope everyone's having a good day, maybe doing some crafting, having a nice time. Have you been joining in with me along this series? If you have, you know, what have you been making? What have you produced? You know, perhaps you've done loads, perhaps you've not done that many, you know, or perhaps you just haven't had time, or, you know, perhaps you didn't want to do it. And that's all fine. You know, we can all join in or not join in. Obviously, from my point of view, it would be super exciting if you did. But yeah, I mean, obviously it's absolutely fine if you haven't. So I'm thinking maybe layer him up with a bit of lace on there. I mean, I love putting lace on things, as you know, and doesn't that just look so yummy and scrumptious? I love how that looks. So again, what I'm going to do is just kind of more glue in the middle to hold that down, because then I will probably take this to my sewing machine. And like I've said before, you know, the sewing machine isn't always kind of too comfortable going through the hot glue. So by doing it like this, I can get round there, you know, without kind of like too much problems from the hot glue. So I love how that looks. So I'm going to put that to one side. Right, let's bring in the next one. So again, let's rough this up like that. I mean, don't these just always look so scrumptious with black lace? You know, anything kind of book pagey, black and white, you know, couldn't really look any more beautiful and gorgeous. than with black lace. It just, oh, can't tell you how scrumptious it looks. I absolutely love, love, love it. So let's ink this one. And then what I'll do is with this one, I'm going to just ink the bottom layer like that. Okay. Because obviously the bottom layer on this one we didn't do with the, you know, the same pattern paper. So I'll just ink around there like that. Okay, and then got my, you know, sewing pattern, and I think what I'm going to do on this one is put some ivory lace on here. So let me just pull in some ivory. Okay. So again, just thinking, yeah, maybe like just a section. You know, and I really don't want to kind of overthink this, or, you know, I just want to kind of, yeah, just get it down. Now, do I want to ink this up? Because I'm kind of thinking that this would look really good if it's actually inked up. So just going to take this and ink up the lace. Okay. Oh, I just did my click and collect, and oh, would you believe I so annoyingly ordered it at a totally different store to my local store, because I had been trying to get a click and collect a couple of weeks ago and there were none in my local area, and I had tried then to get some, you know, further afield, to get a click and collect further afield, and my laptop must have then held that location, you know, that store in its memory. So when I then went on to do my, oops, click and collect again, I didn't notice, but it had then, you know, just defaulted to the store that I had kind of then been randomly looking at. So it wasn't until this morning when I got my, you know, my like confirmation saying, you know, your order's ready to collect, that then I noticed it was actually not even my next local store, but about 4 stores away. Which, oh, how annoying was that? Because actually, by the time that I drove over there, then I had to stop and get something else. You know, and then stopped and got something else. Because, of course, it was then like, you know, these other shops were on the way back from that shop. It took me 2 hours. I mean, the irony. Because obviously I've done the click and collect to try and save myself time. I mean, I could have done the shop in like 45 minutes. What a joke. But yeah, I mean, totally my own fault, but I just had not noticed at all. And, you know, fancy it holding that as a kind of default. I mean, I guess it thought it was being helpful. You know, the system probably thinks that's helpful. But yeah, in this particular case, no, that was not helpful at all. Right, so I'm thinking kind of like that. So again, what I'm going to do is just glue this section down here. Okay. Like that. And then the lace is going to go kind of like to the side. Again, you know, I did the other one to the side. I think there's something quite nice about that. I mean, you could always have it, you know, in the centre, but I think it's kind of quite nice having it off to the side. It just makes it a little bit more interesting to look at. And yeah, I just, why wouldn't you? You know, why wouldn't you put it off to the side? So again, just going to kind of like glue this in the sort of centre, and then I will go around that again with the sewing machine, which will then, you know, hold everything down, but won't interfere with that hot glue, or the glue won't interfere with the sewing machine, perhaps I should say. Okay, and then I've just got this flower, which I think is rather nice, but I'm wondering whether I might like to put the flower on, you know, after I've done the sewing, or whether I want to have the flower on and then sew through it. Or perhaps I'll take it like that to the sewing machine. So the last one, now what have I done with that other man? Now he's disappeared. Was he the the miserable old man. Perhaps he was not destined to make it onto a topper. Oh, I've obviously done something strange with him. Let me know. Let me know below. What have I done with him? Obviously, it won't be in time for... aha. Here we go. It's dropped on the floor. Hold on. Oh, my goodness. Sorry about that. Right. Yes. He looks very stern, doesn't he? Let's have him. Oh, dear. I've torn right into him. No wonder he's looking so miserable. I've now torn him in half. No, I didn't tear him in half, but did tear him quite a bit. Okay. Right. And then I'm thinking let's mix this one with some colour. So, you know, we've done the others very neutrally and, you know, one had obviously the black theme and one had obviously the ivory, kind of like colourless type colour scheme, I suppose, going on. So I thought let's do another one where we actually add some colour to it. So just taking this butterfly, and again, you know, this was just something that was laying down or laying around on my desk, and it caught my eye and I thought, well, let's give this a try. I'm not saying it's going to be, you know, quite right, but, you know, let's just see how it looks. So I quite like how that looks so far. Let's see what else I've got. So I've got some flowers here. Now obviously this flower's got the pink on it, which for me that feels like, oh no, you can't really have the pink on there, because of course it doesn't really sort of belong there. Now I've got this ribbon, which we could definitely incorporate some of this ribbon on there, couldn't we? You know, so as we can incorporate the colour by using other elements with that colour, if you see what I mean. So I'll just ink around him. I mean, you don't have to do that. You could just have, you know, an isolated thing incorporating some of that colour. But, you know, what is quite nice is if you can then have a couple of things with some of that colour that you've added. So that ribbon is, you know, just going to be a sort of cool thing to be able to put on there with the colour. So let's just ink around there. Okay. Whoa. Right. So again, I'm going to just glue this down straight onto the bottom layer. Like that. Okay. Okay, like that. And then the man himself we're going to have here, and just wondering whether I could incorporate anything else with a bit of colour on. So I've just got some sort of scrap here. Let's take this. Okay. Oh, that looks great, doesn't it? So let's just tear that down a little bit. Oh, yeah, love that. It's just kind of enough to be able to bring that colour in. You know, I'm not swamping it with blue, but we're just bringing some other blue bits in. So just by putting that down, so again, just gluing that just with, you know, regular glue. Okay, oops, like that. And oh, I must stop using this. This is the wet wipe, which I have not dried off. Ah, surprised it's not smudging everything, to be honest. Right, and then we're going to put him, and again, he's off to the side. And, you know, I've now done that with all of them. You know, again, I hadn't necessarily planned to do them all to the side, you know, when I started the video, but I think they're really nice to the side. You know, that seems to be, for me, I think, how they kind of are working best on this project. And again, you know, I'm not saying that this is necessarily a rule or, you know, that I would always do this, but for these, they just seem to look good being off, you know, being off to the side, don't they? So, like that. Now, my blue ribbon, kind of wondering whether we could do like a bit of a bow type thing going on. Or is that weird because he actually is not a bow type of character? He's not really, is he? So, yeah. Right, I'm going to take these to the sewing machine and then I will come back. Okay, so I'm back from the sewing machine. Now, this one I have just stitched. I mean, you probably can't even really see the stitching because I can barely see it here in the flesh. But I've just stitched around kind of on that book page. So that's that one. This one I decided he would benefit from having a kind of double frame. So I've kind of stitched 2 lines of stitching. And then this one, I just stitched around him and then I stitched this flower straight on like that. Just straight through the centre. So I'm just going to cut that flower down, a little bit. Not the flower, sorry, the, you know, cut the threads. And then just cut from around here. Oops. Like that. Okay. And, yeah, that's just... Okay, right. Get all my threads out. Now, unfortunately, I was too lazy to change the thread on my sewing machine because this one would have looked obviously good with black thread. But, yeah, I was too lazy to, you know, to change it. Now already these have got a really good kind of thick feel to them. They don't feel, you know, too thick that they're kind of like unmovable, but they're quite robust. You know, I feel really comfortable that these would be really good sturdy toppers now. Whereas obviously they started out, you know, a little bit on the flimsy side and, you know, wouldn't make ideal toppers, but, you know, they now have a good robust kind of feel to them. So yeah, definitely kind of it's worth doing the little kind of layering and things like that, because you've just built up and given it a bit more, you know, robustness. Yeah, I mean, otherwise, you know, it was quite flimsy book page really when it started. So, you know, it's now got a good thickness. So I'm going to ruffle on some ribbon. Now I'm just going to take this, whoops. And again, what I'm going to do, I could staple this, but I'm just going to, I think, just glue this on. So let's just do my end so I've not got a scrappy end. And I'm just going to put it, oh, actually I'm thinking maybe on this sheet might look quite cool. So just going to hot glue and then just, you know, pop my ribbon on, ruffling it as I go, like that. Okay, like that. Okie dokie. And then this one. Okay, and then finally like that. Okay. So, and obviously if you were worried that, you know, your ribbon's not going to be robust enough, you could always, you know, add a couple of staples, you know, afterwards. You don't have to just leave it like this, ruffled. But that said, you know, I feel like the ruffles are going to be more than good enough. So, or, you know, the hot glue is going to be more than good enough to actually hold it. Sorry, I'm just pulling the glue threads and then it's obviously putting it off the desk. So I'm going to then have my butterfly on there, which again is just going to add a little touch of blue, which, you know, brings it all kind of together quite nicely, doesn't it? So because this is going to be on a cover rather than, you know, what's the word? Well, yeah, rather than inside a journal, I feel like I'm going to actually do the butterfly flat rather than kind of leave it flapping, just because I don't want to, you know, risk the wings getting knocked off. I'm just wondering whether I might like to have a blue flower trim on there. So let me just see whether I've got any handy here. Hold on. Because I was just kind of, you know, going through my mind what other blue things I've got, and I thought, oh, actually might be able to have a blue flower, and of course I haven't got any right here. Oh, and I'm just being really lazy because yeah, I can't be bothered to get up now and go and get them out, which, I mean, how terrible is that? I mean, they're literally like, you know, probably four footsteps from my desk. Which, how lazy can you possibly be? Pretty bad. Pretty bad, it's got to be said. Right, so let's just go for that. I'm going to have to go and get the flowers because, you know, once something enters your head, you can't quite get it out, can you, until you've tried it. So hold on 2 moments while I just get some blue flowers. Oh, honestly, I mean, they're just here. I'm touching them right now. You know, that's how quick that was. Pathetic, isn't it? That I was even considering not going over there. Right, can you see? I mean, they're just perfect colour match, aren't they? So yeah, I could just have a couple of flowers. So let's put this butterfly down. And I've, you know, glued him on all sides of him, if you see what I mean. So he is nicely glued down. And then I'm just wondering whether he might have a little flower in the centre. Don't know whether that's actually too big, that it's kind of like covering up that butterfly altogether. Yeah, you can barely see the butterfly now. I mean, he's quite stern, isn't he, to be coupling him with flowers, but hey, you know, this is a junk journal, and as we know, with junk journals, anything goes. So, you know, he might look quite stern, but we're softening him up. That's what we're doing. Softening him up with a bit of florals. Right. I'm not even sure whether this is black or grey, to be honest, but it was just, again, you know, laying around on the desk. So why not just try it? Why not? Oh, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of nice. It looks sort of striking, doesn't it? But I'm not sure. Not sure really whether it's kind of bringing a lot to the party, if you know what I mean. So let's just take that down. It's not really helping because it's like really weird shape. Oh, let's put some on here. So I'm thinking we could have some down here. Okay. Like that. And then we could have some, the other little piece, and my goodness, it is really little. Yep. We could just have kind of like some somewhere else. So oh, this is so fiddly. I can barely handle it. It's you know, every time I touch it, it's like rolling back up, if you know what I mean. So, well, let's have it like that, shall we? Okay. Oh, now I've stuck that on back to front, I think. Oh, honestly, after all that, I've now stuck it on kind of, yeah, back to front. Right, okay. So I'm just going to put this flower on down the bottom, like that. Okay. And we could have... So I might just put this lace on there only because obviously I'm irritated with myself for gluing that other one on like upside down. So if I just put that on there, it kind of covers it up. You know, just because, yeah, otherwise, I mean, probably nobody would even notice, but you know, when you've done something, then you will always know, won't you? So yeah, it would probably irritate me forever. So, you know, I feel like then peeling it off. So to save me feeling that way, I'll just cover it up. Okay. So should we just have a pearly line somewhere, I'm thinking. Okay. Ouch. Right. Okay, so that looks quite pretty, doesn't it? And then could maybe finish it off with another little row of pearls or something. I don't know whether it can take it really, but let's just have a look. Yeah, maybe just a little row there, although that's a bit strange actually. Maybe just some here. Yeah, maybe some down the side of that photo, so. I mean, not that it's a photo, obviously, but that book image. Okay. So, yeah, that looks really nice, doesn't it? And then what we could do is finish him off. I know, you're probably thinking, oh, as if he's not finished already, but no, he's not quite finished. Could finish him off with like a wax seal. Now, I've done some more wax seals quickly yesterday. And I still now, would you believe, have not got anything quite the right colour. Which, oh, would you believe it? Yeah, I mean, that's not really the right colour, is it? But, I mean, can we get away with it? That's the question. See, I move it away and think, oh, that's really boring now. So, yeah, perhaps we will. Perhaps we will have that. I'm just going to check whether I've got any others. No, I haven't. Well, I mean, I've done loads, but yeah, I don't think I've got any others that are any better colour-wise than this one. So I've got this one with a red, kind of more conventional wax seal, or I have that one. Let's just pull them in. Oh, let's go for this one, I think. So, yeah. Okay. Like that. Okay, so that is him. Right, let's move him out of the way. My gosh, he took a long time to do, didn't he, in the end? Right, I best speed up a little bit with the next one. So this one, let's pull this one in. And what could I do with this one? I've got some of that Hessian trim, which I just saw it when I was rummaging through that little bag. Okay. This might not be the kind of look that I'm wanting, although it does look quite pretty. So yeah, let's just go for that. I'm just going to glue this down. Trying to speed up here because I know I took forever on that other one. So that looks good, doesn't it? Yeah. And then what we could do is could have some pearly trim again. Whoops. Let's have a look. I mean, we could have it kind of layered up in there, or is that a bit strange? Probably is a bit strange, so perhaps we'll have it up here. Perhaps we'll have it over there. Yeah, okay. So again, just whoops, right, fiddly, okay, like that. Okay, looking good. Whoops. So, I mean, that's not even straight, you can probably see. I mean, that pearly trim's not even straight on there, but, you know, that's fine. I don't mind that. I think it looks, you know, absolutely fine, even though it's not straight. Now, just seeing whether we want anything else. I've got some of this ivory crochet lace here. Just see whether we could incorporate any of that anywhere. I mean, again, you know, it doesn't really need it, but, you know, I really like a kind of fancy topper. You know, and the fancier the better, really. So, yeah, kind of, I guess, building it up and, you know, putting extra bits on is really nice, isn't it? So, got that piece there, and then maybe just another little piece. Maybe that's too many bits. kind of, oh, that's nice, isn't it? So I'm just going to literally run a little dab of glue down that edge. Just put that sort of poking out there. How gorgeous does that look? Love how that looks. And then I think let's incorporate, you know, a couple of buttons. I know we've done that a lot already this week, but I do really like the buttons on a topper for some reason, you know, and I know I've talked about this before, but, you know, because I buy a lot of buttons, or I have bought a lot of buttons in the past, I'm not necessarily buying them now. You know, I seem to have stopped myself from doing that endlessly, especially as I don't then use them. But because I do, or have a lot of buttons anyway that I have bought in the past, you know, I just think they're really nice on these toppers. So if I can possibly use some, then, you know, that's a really great opportunity, isn't it, to yeah, to incorporate some on these, I think. So yeah, I like how that looks. So I'm just going to, and again, I don't know really why I'm using 3 in particular. Every time I seem to have used 3. Maybe it's something to do with that little rule that I know that Barbara over at 49 Dragonflies, she always swears by odd numbers, doesn't she? And 3 in particular. So yeah, maybe it's just that, but you know, doesn't that look gorgeous? So that's that one. Right, let's bring in the final one. And okay, so this one is our sort of one with the black elements, which, you know, I always do love to incorporate black if I can. So on this one, I'm thinking possibly a black bow. So again, I've got my, oops, my bows here. Oops, like that. So yeah, let's pop a black bow. Oh my goodness, how yummy does that look? I mean, I don't even need to kind of like spend time wondering. I just absolutely love it straight away. So, oh, oops. Okay. So let's pop that down there to that side. Okay. Oh my goodness. How yummy. How yummy is that? So, I mean, that bow just, oh, looks scrumptious, doesn't it? So we've got that bow. Now let's just see if we want anything else. Ooh. Yeah, that button's got a bit of a kind of shank on there, which possibly, you know, I could cut off or something. Oh, that's nice, isn't it? Just with that little black button there. This one here. I mean, they're not shiny buttons or anything like that, but to be honest, they still look good, don't they? So let's just take that one. And then this one. Hey, and I've broken the thing about the 3. We have just put 2 buttons down on this one now. So, and they look perfectly fine, don't they? I don't think it's crying out for another one or anything like that. I think it looks fine. Okay, and do we want any bling or anything on here? Because I always do love, oh yeah, I always do love a bit of bling. Now, Lord only knows where I actually think I'm going to put this, but hey, if we can get away with adding some, let's add some. So I'm just going to put that down there. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, this is so fiddly. Right, just hot glue straight down the middle like that. And then just glue that, oh, glue that down. And again, you know, that's going to just hold that lace in place kind of through there. And you know, I think that's really all that he needs. I mean, he just is like speaking for himself, isn't he? I mean, you know, just that black lace is kind of enough. It's, you know, it's really not kind of needing anything else particularly to kind of make him stand out or sing or anything else. He looks amazing, just, you know, just like he is. So let's bring in a couple of covers and see how these would look. So, oops, what covers have I got? Back to my normal one, or hang on. Fine. I did do some other covers the other day, like I said. Oh, no. I said I did some other covers, and now I seem to just be back to the old, same old favourites. Right, okay. Right, okay. I have got this one. So love this fabric. So that's him on there. I mean, obviously, this is not the cover that I would use him on. But hopefully this really demonstrates, even on this, which, you know, like I say, is not the cover I would use him on, he still looks great. I mean, he still looks awesome, doesn't he? And, you know, all you would have to do is, you know, put maybe one or two other black things around, you know, if you've got like some black flower trims or something like that. If you've got any more black lace, if I just pull some in, hold on, you know, just a little bit of, oops, black lace. Sorry, I'm just tearing this down to be able to kind of demonstrate this. So yeah, you know, you could put some here along the edge. You could put some here along the spine. You know, and then you'd obviously pop him on there. I mean, how amazing does that look? Not the cover I would use him on. That said, he looks awesome on there, doesn't he? So, you know, could easily then use him on that cover. So that is that one. We have got this one, which is obviously more colourless. And, you know, so I mean, he kind of lends himself a little bit better onto that cover because, of course, he's kind of neutral coloured. This, obviously, kind of purpley one, you know, just to give you an idea of like what he would look like on, like, say, a coloured cover. I mean, he just looks great, doesn't he? You know, again, you could then mix it up by adding some other bits. So, for instance, some black lace on there, you know, with that. And in fact, you could even go over it, if you see what I mean. You know, have that lace kind of where it's overlapping it. Doesn't that look gorgeous? You know, it looks really, really good, doesn't it? I've got this green patchwork. Again, that's how he would look on there. So, you know, really, really nice. Then obviously our blue one. Now, of course, this is not the cover for this because, you know, of course, this is blue and this is a green cover. But just to, again, give you an idea, that's him on the purple. That's him on that one, which actually I don't mind him on that. But, yep, I've got my favourite one that we've pulled in a billion times already. So that's him on a blue cover. Doesn't he look amazing? And obviously, because this is book page, you know, it's kind of got a tendency to curl up on the sides at the moment because it's been glued together. Once you glue this down and stick it on, it's going to go flat. You know, it won't be curling up or anything else. You know, so that's how he looks on there. This is how he looks, obviously, on the back. You know, just absolutely gorgeous, isn't it? And again, I would either hot glue or I would Fabri-Tac that down just like that onto the cover. So, I mean, they're really, really scrumptious, aren't they? I really, really love them. And, you know, they literally took, like, no material, really, at all. You know, they were just really book pages and they've got very minimal elements kind of added to them. So, you know, I hope that that's given you some ideas. And, yeah, have fun if you decide to make some. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys tomorrow for day 6. Thank you so much then. Bye.